I wish she'd just go away. She's so annoying and always makes things tense. Oh sure, let's get rid of her. I've got an idea, leave it to me. I froze. That was my husband talking, and then I heard my mother-in-law's sharp laugh coming from the living room. My heart sank and my knees started shaking. I couldn't move. Just a little while ago, I'd been excited to come home after 2 weeks away. I even bought Jake's favorite bourbon, thinking we could sit together and enjoy a quiet evening as a family. I'd smiled at the thought while sitting on the train. But as soon as I walked through the door, I heard them plotting to get rid of me. 10 years of my life, devoted to this family, suddenly felt meaningless. I thought about all those mornings I woke up early to make breakfast, the late nights cooking warm dinners, and the weekends spent planning meals they loved. But Madison, my mother-in-law, always threw away my food. "This is unfit for us," she'd say. Every time, I quietly made it again. Just last month, on my birthday, Jake didn't come home because of work. Later, I found out he'd gone to a fancy restaurant with his mom. My heart burned with anger and sadness. I'd buried my feelings for so long, but now I realized it was all for nothing. From the living room, I still heard them chatting, excited about their plans to push me out. My anger grew like a fire inside me. I gripped the handle of my suitcase tightly. "My name is Sarah Green. I'm 35 years old, and I work as an architect. I've traveled the world, Paris, New York, Dubai, designing beautiful spaces that bring people joy." But Madison didn't know any of this. To her, a woman belonged in the home. She thought my job was just a little side thing to help out. She had no idea about the life I'd built. Architecture has always been my passion. My father used to say it could warm hearts and add beauty to people's lives. I've carried his words with me ever since he and my mom died in an accident when I was 15. After that, I worked hard to keep his dream alive. I graduated at the top of my college class and landed a job at a global architecture firm. For most of my 20s, I focused only on work. Dating wasn't even on my mind. People called me a workaholic, and I didn't care. Then, 3 years ago, everything changed. I met Jake. A mutual friend introduced us, and he seemed different. "Architecture, huh? That's amazing," he said when we first met. Jake had kind eyes and genuinely wanted to understand my work. For the first time, I felt seen, like I'd found someone who truly understood me. I married him, feeling like I'd regained the family warmth I lost so long ago. We moved into a cozy apartment together, spending weekends picking out furniture, choosing curtains, and placing a plant by the window. It was a simple but real happiness. But that happiness didn't last. Less than a month after our wedding, Jake's mother, Madison, moved in, without asking. "I just can't bear to be alone anymore," she said, crying. Jake, clearly uncomfortable, reluctantly agreed. "I'm sorry, Sarah. Mom's been so down lately," he said. I could see how deeply attached he was to her. Since his father had passed away before we married, I understood her loneliness and thought this was my chance to build a warm relationship with her. I worked hard to make Madison feel welcome. I woke up early to make breakfast, took care of the house even after long work days, and planned activities for us on weekends, like outings or trying new recipes. Jake noticed and said, "Sarah, you don't have to do so much. If you overwork yourself, we'll all be worried." His kindness motivated me to do even more. But Madison's attitude changed. "This soup is awfully bland." "Jake, how are you supposed to get your nutrients like this?" she'd say. I'd respond calmly, "I'm so sorry. I'll do better next time," while holding back tears. She'd criticize everything, even how I folded laundry. "You're so busy with work, but this is just sad," she'd remark. My hands would clench in frustration. Then came her hurtful comments, "You know, men start looking around when their wives are too busy with work. Especially someone like Jake, such a good-hearted man." Her words stung, but I endured it. This was my family now. Occasionally, Jake would try to defend me. "Mom, maybe don't say it like that," he'd say, but his voice would trail off when she shot him a stern look. Every time he backed down, my love for him dimmed a little. Still, I held on to hope that Madison would someday understand me. One night, I shared my dream with Jake. Jake, I want to start my own architecture firm someday. I want to build things that make people happy. And if I had my own firm, I'd have more time for us. That's incredible, Sarah. You'll make it happen, I know it, he said with a warm smile. For a moment, I felt like I had a real partner. Recently, I landed a major project that could define my career. When I told Jake, he seemed happy at first. Wow, that's amazing, Sarah. But his smile didn't reach his eyes. He looked down, like he was hiding something. Just make sure you don't neglect things here at home, okay? Mom's been worried, he added. Then Madison placed her hand on his shoulder and gave me a disapproving stare. In that moment, I saw everything clearly, Jake's insecurities and Madison's jealousy. I still wanted to believe that, one day, we'd truly be a family. But that night changed everything. As I finished washing the dishes, Madison's sharp, mocking voice cut through the silence. Sarah, come here right now, she snapped. Her tone made my shoulders tense. Sighing, I dried my hands and went to the living room. The smell of alcohol hit me. Jake was sitting on the couch, looking uneasy, while Madison had a flushed face and a smug expression. So, Sarah, are you really going on business trips, or is it something else? She asked, her tone dripping with accusation. I froze, shocked. My throat tightened, but I stayed calm, arguing would only make things worse. Then she pulled out a piece of paper, divorce papers. Jake's signature was already there. We're keeping it ready in case you step out of line, she said with a mocking smile. My heart raced as I stared at Jake's familiar handwriting. Her words felt like ice in my veins. My hands started shaking as memories of our wedding day, our home, and the little moments we shared flashed through my mind. Jake, what's going on? Does our marriage mean so little to you? I asked. Jake wouldn't meet my eyes. Well, Mom's just worried, you've been gone so much lately, he mumbled. See? Even Jake is concerned, Madison chimed in. Running off on all those business trips and leaving the house a mess. I looked at Jake and suddenly everything became clear. His need for his mother's approval outweighed any love or commitment to me. Furious but unwilling to show my pain, I said, 4 years, I've kept this house running and taken care of both of you, and this is how you repay me? Madison rolled her eyes. Busy, always so busy, she mocked. Jake even told me himself he's fed up with you being gone all the time. Jake looked away like a scolded child. I mean, yeah, I did say that, he admitted weakly. In that moment, something inside me broke. The man I had trusted with my heart was siding with someone who constantly tore me down. But I couldn't give up just yet. I didn't sign the papers. Instead, I left for a 2-week work trip to Dubai, hoping some distance would help me think clearly. During the trip, I received an email that stopped me in my tracks. Miss Green, congratulations. Your project has been shortlisted for this year's International Architecture Award. You are the first American woman to reach this level. My heart raced with pride and excitement. I heard my dad's voice in my mind. Architecture has the power to heal, to bring people together. As my taxi drove through the city, I imagined how proud Jake would be. Maybe he'd finally see what my career meant. But when I arrived home that night, I was greeted by laughter from the living room. As I opened the door, I heard Jake's voice, harsh and bitter. Oh God, I wish she'd just disappear. I can't stand living on edge every single day, Jake said. Madison's voice responded, syrupy but full of venom. Then why don't we make her go? Don't worry, honey, I've got a plan. My heart sank as I realized what was happening. I had hoped to share my triumph with Jake, but instead, I found my own family plotting against me. My hands shook as I clutched my suitcase. I was frozen, unable to breathe. For 10 years, I had done everything to build a life for this family, early mornings, late nights, weekends spent cooking and cleaning, and now, they were casually planning to cast me out. I stood there, holding the award notification in my hand, their laughter echoing around me. In that moment, it became clear, this time, I wouldn't just leave. I would end this chapter on my own terms. That night, I quietly packed the essentials. I left behind everything tied to the past, the gifts, the memories, even my wedding ring. As I closed the door behind me, I whispered a quiet farewell. 2 days later, I arranged a meeting with Jake and Madison at a luxury hotel downtown. The conference room on the 30th floor overlooked the city, a perfect backdrop for what I had planned. I arrived early, dressed in a sharp suit, and laid out documents on the table: my award notice, project contracts, and the signed divorce papers. When Jake and Madison arrived, they looked startled. Jake's shirt was wrinkled, and Madison's smug expression had been replaced with unease. "Please, sit," I said calmly. "What's all this, Sarah? Some kind of last-ditch effort?" Madison sneered. I stayed composed. "I wanted you both here for closure and to clarify a few things." I placed the award notice in front of them. "I recently learned I'm a finalist for an international architecture award. It's something my father and I dreamed about for years." Madison scoffed. "Really? You never mentioned it." "I wanted to share it with my family, but you both made it clear where I stand." Then, I played the recording of their cruel words. The room filled with their voices. Jake looked horrified, and Madison's face went pale. That was taken out of context," Madison stammered. I shook my head. "There's no misunderstanding. I know exactly how you both feel about me." I slid the signed divorce papers across the table. "It's over." Jake reached out, desperation in his eyes. "Sarah, wait." Madison snapped, her composure unraveling. "Good riddance. You think you're better than us because of some fancy job and an award?" "No, Madison, I don't think I'm better," I replied firmly, "but I do know my worth, and it's not here." I gathered my things, leaving Jake and Madison in stunned silence. Outside, the world was waiting for me, full of promise. For the first time, I was free to pursue happiness on my own terms. A month later, I moved into a new high-rise apartment overlooking the city. The building's elegant design and breathtaking views reflected my passion for architecture. Each morning, I looked out over the city, reminding myself that this new life was something I created. I reconnected with old friends, took on exciting projects, and opened a new office downtown for my growing team. My work was thriving, and every day brought thrilling new challenges and accomplishments. At the International Awards ceremony, I was announced as the winner. Applause echoed around me as I held up the award, honoring the dream my father and I had once shared. The moment felt surreal, filled with pride and nostalgia. Standing on that stage, I realized I was exactly where I was meant to be. Every painful experience had shaped me into who I was: stronger, independent, and unshakable. My heart was full, and my mind was clear. With each step forward, I felt the weight of the past fall away, leaving me free to design my future. The world was my canvas, and I was ready to create a life truly worth living.